Welcome along to the Gary Neville Podcast, which is coming to you today from the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where Gary and I have just witnessed Manchester United coming up with what feels for them, Gary, like a huge win.
Huge win, and I don't know whether you were at that game with me pre-Christmas, Rob, where Ruben Amorim's the manager of Manchester United. Manchester United playing against 10-man Everton, and Everton go and win 1-0, and it feels like a complete and utter turnaround from that moment. Despair that night, you're thinking, where are Manchester United going? I remember being incredibly frustrated on commentary. I mean, Manchester United haven't played well tonight at all in the game. In fact, they were really poor in the quality. Maybe Everton's sort of what will be compact defensive shape, maybe having 10 days, 2 weeks off, just lost a little bit of rhythm. But what they have done is they've dug in and they've kept a clean sheet, which is a good thing. Good thing for Lenny Yoro, I think, coming in, because I think Martinez, before the game, when you heard that Martinez wasn't playing, you thought that could be a problem. Obviously, United's back four has been quite solid in the last couple of weeks. The goalkeeper, I thought, was my man of the match tonight. Not necessarily because he made loads of amazing saves, but everything he did, he just did really calmly and well. The tip over the bar at the end, there was a shot for him to Tariq George, wasn't it? That was just bounced in front of him and he just held it. And then Everton must have had about 8 or 9 corners. He didn't deal with every single one, but he dealt with a lot of them. And I think having a goalkeeper of composure who just does his job calmly, isn't frantic, isn't sort of rushing around, I think makes a big difference in moments like that when you come into a place like this and they're putting enormous pressure on you. So, look, it's a good night for Manchester United in a game whereby you'll say that they weren't at the best, but we got 3 points. And really big 3 points. Obviously, Liverpool getting that late winner yesterday put a little bit of pressure on Manchester United, but they go up there into 4th now on the sort of shoulder of Aston Villa in a really great position. Obviously, Palace to come at the weekend, who are having a challenging time. So, yeah, that's a really important win tonight. I think, look, in terms of sort of things to look at, Manchester United still look like when they're playing against a team that sits deep, they just don't quite have the sort of what would be the sustained quality, tempo and sort of rhythm in the passing to be able to sort of really break through teams. They still look better on the counter-attack. And I have to say, and we'll come on to the goal, I'm sure, that's one of the best counter-attacking goals you'll see.
I just want to mention Ruben Amorim, though, as you brought his name up. I mean, he must be looking at these results now and wondering what the difference is. Is it as simple as the change of system that he was wedded to?
Look, I think obviously he got a number of things wrong when you look at what's happening now. I mean, not changing this. He did change the system a little bit in a couple of games, and it looked like that could be a way forward, but then against Wolves he went back the way. And that felt to me like the sort of terminal blow for Ruben Amorim. And then you look at sort of what happened with Kobbie Mainoo, and you look at Kobbie Mainoo out there playing alongside Casemiro, and they look like a very competent pair. And Kobbie Mainoo looks like a football player. I mean, he looks like he can play the position really well. He looks like he can handle the ball, which he can. And he looks like he's back to his best. And I think that that's something that obviously stands out. The system of play, Kobbie Mainoo, injuries, AFCON, obviously Harry Maguire coming back. There are a number of things. The mood, obviously, of Michael, the composure of Michael, the thing that obviously I think has changed. Maybe they're liking more what they're seeing on the training pitch. So you put all those things together, but it's, you know, Ruben Amorim must be sat there at home watching Manchester United. I mean, I don't think he's a guy that will sit there and think that, you know, I can't believe this is happening. I think he'll be, you know, he's worked with a lot of these players and a lot of the staff. But I think he might be sat there thinking, what will I do differently in the future when I'm in that same position again and I get another job, and maybe I am sort of being a little bit stubborn and not quite sort of making the changes that the players want. But tonight, I thought Manchester United started quite well in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but then obviously just the real lack of quality, and sort of, I mean, it was almost called giveaway. It wasn't possession, it was giveaway for about half an hour between Everton and Manchester United. They were just constantly sort of making errors on the ball. And like I say, both teams, you didn't really have an idea about how both teams would score a goal. You knew that one goal was going to win it. It was a real, I mean, at half-time we sat there and thinking, I hope this improves. And I think Jamie Carrick said at half-time, this is the top 2 of the top 10 teams in the Premier League, and you're watching a game there and there wasn't a lot. And at one point I wondered whether the pitch looked a little bit heavy. I don't know what you thought on that. I mean, did you think that or not?
It was unusual, wasn't it, to see a Premier League pitch like that,
yeah,
holding a bit of water.
Yeah, and I thought it looks perfect. And it hasn't been torrential rain like we've seen in the last few weeks. It's just a little bit of light drizzling. You think it's going to be absolutely perfect to zip it around, but it just didn't quite play like that. And the players maybe didn't, obviously the players didn't contribute to that either. But look, number of things. I think Everton, will be really frustrated. I think that all those set pieces they had in the second half, they'll have thought that maybe they should have got, well, they'll definitely think they should have got something out of those. The pressure that they were putting on the goalkeeper, the Manchester United defenders, they'll think that, was it 10 corners they had in that period? And you're thinking out of that, not necessarily directly from a corner, but even for when a second phase and the ball comes out, that you'll hit one, it'll deflect and it'll go in it. They didn't really create a chance. I can't remember a chance that they had from one of those corners, which is credit to Manchester United. He's now actually here doing an interview, Senna Larmans. I think he's actually doing it into the studio with Edwin van der Sar, which I think, to be fair, I wish I was listening to this. But listening to, here we go. Let's listen to this for a second. Yeah, Edwin's just saying there that obviously it's the first season in the Premier League and, you made a couple of good saves, you're dealing with things with your hands, your good composure. I've said it before, I'm not going to say it again, people will get tired of me saying it. I do think it's the most difficult position and most scrutinised position in English football, and I had my concerns when he came in. I thought, why would you take a chance with a goalkeeper who's young, who's not got the pedigree, who's played in a different league, who's going to come to Manchester United? He could eat him up, and it is early, but he looks like he's got the temperament, and he's got the technical quality, and he's doing the right things, and he holds the ball when he should hold it. He punches when he should punch it, but even when he punches, it's not one of those wild punches. It's just a solid sort of everything seems under control. And I like order in my goalkeepers. I don't like anything that's frantic, that demonstrates anxiety to a crowd. Because if you do that at Old Trafford, that's Stretford then behind you at one end and the K-stand at the other. If they can feel and smell that goalkeeper's not quite right and that they got a little bit of sort of nervousness about them, it won't go well. It will not go well. And this kid, to be fair, he's come in. I really have been impressed with him. And look, he looks like he's got a big, big future. Early days, but I'm not really sort of talking about this last 4 or 5 matches. I'm talking about when Manchester United were under significant pressure and if you think about it, the clouds are circling under Ruben Amorim, and I still thought that he was doing quite well in that period. So now, in a team that's winning, he looks even better. But I think just overall, throughout the whole period, coming in at a challenging time, an ever-changing defence, Ruben Amorim used to change his centre-backs every 10 seconds. I think he's done brilliantly well, and I give him man of the match today, just purely because I thought he actually contributed to Manchester United's clean sheet, probably more than the 4 defenders who did really well too.
We're going to talk more in a moment about goalkeepers because that has been the theme of the night on Monday Night Football, but we're going to take a more historical angle. But you've spoken about the goalkeeper. What about the goal scorer? Because Sesko had a rough time as well under Amorim. It didn't seem like he could score. Now the goals are coming more freely. Has he done enough to earn a starting place?
If he's not there, he's certainly right on the door and he should be banging down on Michael Carrick. I think I liked his celebration. Because I'd like to see aggression from him. He's 6'4". I mean, he should be beating centre backs up. And there's a little bit when you saw him earlier on in the season, he looked a little bit timid, a little bit upright, and just now he's just starting to have a little bit more power about him. And he's quite quick when he actually gets going, and you see him sort of make his moves forward. But that celebration, I thought, was a message to everybody. I mean, also mainly those Manchester United fans over in the corner who were going wild. But that was a message to say, get me in this damn team now. This is my start. I start next time. I think he'll be really disappointed, having scored the goal against West Ham, which is a wonderful goal, not to be in that team today. You say he had a difficult time under Ruben Amorim, absolutely, but Michael Carrick's not started him yet in any game.
Yeah.
So he's obviously, to be fair, preferring other players, it's fair to say. However, what he's now done in these last 3 games, the winner against Fulham, the West Ham goal, which was a big goal to get a point out of that game where United didn't play well, and then this today, a winner in a game where, again, Manchester United haven't played well. It was a world-class counter-attack. And absolutely, I mean, I always think the best Manchester United goals, my favourite Manchester United goal ever is the actual Ronaldo header away in, I think it was Rome, in the Champions League. I've never seen anything like it. It's like monumental. But then when you put the other goals in there, I always think of counter-attacking goals. The goal at Arsenal in the Champions League, another goal at Arsenal, I think, in the league. Just amazing, quick, devastating counter-attacks are what I believe, I see when I think of a Manchester United goal. That is as good as you'll see. The Cunha pass is absolutely sensational. And then Burmo, that's when he's at his absolute best. When you think of him at Brentford or you think of him at his best at United in these last few months, is when he's running on to play the counter-attacking. And United are a better counter-attacking team than they are actually trying to break teams down. And then you see Sesko's run, and it's the classic. And he's got a bit to do. He's got a good goalkeeper in front of him, and he just really solidly hits it into the corner. And I don't know how long, it must have been 5 or 6 seconds from the point it was cleared out of the box. But it was a brilliant goal. And for Sesko now, I think on Sunday against Crystal Palace, I think he starts. And I haven't always been convinced about him this season. But what you have to do, I think, is move with what you see. And I think there is a moment now where the United have just struggled in the last couple of games against West Ham and Everton. He looks like he's growing in his game and in his body, and he looks like he's got more power in his sort of performance. His confidence is high. And I think now on Sunday, I think Michael Carrick starts him. Just feeling how Michael will look at that, I think it would kill the lad if he didn't start on Sunday. So I think what you'll see on Sunday is probably Cunha to the left and Burmo to the right. I think Sesko up top, and I think you'll see Bruno obviously in behind. And I think that Ahmad will just slip out for a game, which is not he's been really good, Ahmad, but I think Sesko starts Sunday because I don't think you can't not start him. Scoring 3 games on the bounce, scoring winners and equalisers, doing what he's done tonight, you've got to put him in. I think, to be fair, before the game today, I thought, will he play him? I thought he might play him just because Everton, I think, have conceded more headed goals from crosses than most other teams. And I thought, Sesko in there obviously is more of a threat than Cunha or Mbeumo, but decided to go with those 4 that I like. I like the 4 up top. They're really lively and bright. But if teams are going to sit deep against you, which I think, to be fair, West Ham did, Everton did, Crystal Palace are likely to maybe do on Sunday, then maybe Sesko's a bit more, obviously he's got a lot more presence and maybe it'll suit him. So I think he starts Sunday and he deserves it. A lot of pressure. I just said before about the biggest pressure, I think, in English football. I think he's a Manchester United goalkeeper, but not far behind that would be a striker who comes for big money to United. Because if you don't score goals, and it was saying back in my day, people think that the pressure was just applied to players here. When Andy Cole didn't score for a long time and Diego Forlan didn't score for a long time at United, there was big pressure building on those players. Teddy Sheringham in his first season at Manchester United, when he came in for Eric Cantona, he got absolutely hammered. So I think that when you come in as a striker with a big price tag, you've got to deliver, and he's starting to deliver. He really is.
Is there a danger that you make yourself too useful in doing it from the bench, that a manager will keep you back for when a team's tiring, and that situation with the break just suits you and suits that player?
Yeah, I mean, look, there is a danger that maybe that he's sort of getting that super sub type title, but I don't think he's that type. I think he's a starting player. I don't think he's a super sub. He has been a super sub in the last few games because he's needed to be. But I don't think he is someone. I think he's someone now that Michael will look at and think, right, okay, I've not started you in a single game, by the way. I've preferred other players, which sends a clear message that I like other players instead of you. However, on Sunday, I'm going to play you because I think you deserve it and I like you now in front of them. So he's worked his way into a position the hard way through Ruben Amorim, which was a struggle for him, coming in with that price tag. And then, you look at how Cunha and maybe Mbeumo have settled in a lot quicker because they played in the league before. This kid's younger and he's obviously not played in the Premier League. And he just looked a little bit awkward. But we saw Gyökeres yesterday. I thought Gyökeres was his best performance of the season for Arsenal. And he's at times been below par and sort of tried to get up to speed. I think Sesko's been like that at times during this season. But he looks a lot more confident. I don't think he's ever going to be the perfect striker, similar like I said yesterday about Gyökeres. But if he can be a handful, if he can contribute with goals, if he can hold things up, if he can link play, then that'll be enough. That will be enough because you don't have to be always perfect. And today, like you say, I think it's a big moment for him. He starts on Sunday. I don't think he will be a super sub. I think that, he will end up getting into the team. And if he gets into the team, he's on 7 goals now or 8 goals?
8 goals now, yeah.
8 goals. I mean, now if he can sort of... How many games have United got left? 10? 11?
11 now.
11.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if he can get another 4 or 5 and finish this season in double figures, Yeah, I think to be fair, in his first season, which with the struggle that the team were having at the beginning, I think that would be deemed to be a good season. So he's got it all in front of him to play for, and I think he will. I say Crystal Palace. It'd be a bit of a damp squib now, wouldn't it? If he doesn't start, he will start. Yeah. I'm pretty convinced.
Okay, we shall see. How do you read the Champions League race now? Villa and Chelsea dropping points this weekend. Liverpool getting a victory that, in the eyes of many, they didn't necessarily deserve. But it is looking quite strong now, isn't it, for Manchester United, that situation?
Yeah. I mean, there was a period for that 5 or 6 weeks where they played games where you kept thinking they could go into the top four and they didn't. And now they are. They've got an incredible opportunity to finish in the top four. I think they will. I think the other teams start playing in Europe. They've got distractions. United haven't got any distractions. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they've had no game for 2 weeks and haven't played particularly well here today. But I just think they're now starting to get over the line in games where they wouldn't have done before. And yeah, I think they've got a look. It's too early to say. I think they could finish third. I really do think they could finish third. And I think I said a couple of weeks, I thought Villa might just get pulled back a little bit. Like I say, these teams have got European football in front of them, and that's a big distraction. And Manchester United don't have that. And I think they're in a decent place. You look at the players out there, they go over to celebrate tonight, look like they're in a decent sort of mood. They're winning when they play well. They're winning when they don't play well. They're picking up points when they didn't play well at West Ham. So all of the right things are starting to happen. They've hit a really good run. I do think they'll finish third or fourth. I mean, I've probably said at times in this last 3 months, Manchester United have no chance of finishing the Champions League. But this is just a bizarre season. Teams are dropping points. Chelsea dropped points against Burnley on Saturday. Villa dropped points. Liverpool obviously did win in the end. But yeah, I think United get there now, and that'll be a sort of big move in terms of where they were last season. I think it'll be a big move to get into Champions League football, and where they were a few weeks ago, obviously when they sack a manager, and you don't think for the life of you that they can go and beat Arsenal and Manchester City and everyone else that they've beaten in this last few weeks. So it's been an incredible points total that's been pulled together, and I think they're now, I won't say clear favourites to finish in the top four, but they are in pole position.
And a word about Everton. Strange turnaround in their season. They were doing really well here. Tottenham came and won, and since then it's been a little bit sticky for them. No win in 6 at their new stadium now.
Yeah, I was here for the Tottenham game, and it was a really strange day where Tottenham, I think, scored from 2 corners. I think Van der Ven scored 2, did he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, I was here doing the commentary, and it was my first time actually in this stadium, and I was expecting this exciting atmosphere. But obviously you don't get that when your team are losing 2-0. But yeah, I've been here twice and seen them beaten twice. I actually thought tonight they were game, they were dogged, they were organised. They got beaten by a sensational goal from a counter-attack the full length of the pitch. And it was always going to be about one moment of quality or one mistake. I say, I think that what David Moyes, I think at the end of the season will just want a higher contribution from his board and the ownership around, he needs some players, doesn't he? Because I think what he's getting out of these players here and the position they are in the league and the points total they have is absolutely fantastic. Because out on that pitch, it's not a spectacular team. It's not a spectacular. They've got a very good set of pros who put a real shift in, and that, to be fair, is a great quality. You can't criticise any of them lads out on that pitch tonight. I always say if you're an Everton fan leaving this stadium, they'll be really disappointed. But what they'll never do is question the actual sort of what would be commitment of the players out on that pitch. You can't. You can see they're giving everything, but they just need that 3 or 4 players, don't know? And every team probably needs 3 or 4 players. But if they had an Mbeumo, a sort of that type of player, a player that maybe even sort of exists sort of at other clubs, they don't seem to have. They've got Ndiaye down here, which is, he's lively and he's good. But they just need 2 or 3 players, don't they, that just can give them that little bit of quality to go with the solidity and reliability of the other lads that they've got. And they could then jump up into sort of that 8th, 7th and be challenging in those positions. But they're going to need that good recruitment to be good, and they're going to need supporting, and David Moyes is going to need backing. And these Everton fans deserve that, apart from that bloke who's having a go at me for the last half an hour of the match.
You've had a bit of earache, have you?
For about half an hour. Did you hear him?
I was too busy
God, he wouldn't
concentrating.
shut up. Honestly. But, so I think that, you feel for Everton, obviously, in the sense that tonight they put an awful lot into the game. I think probably they shaded it territorially in that second half. I thought that they put a lot into it. But quality, in open play wasn't good enough. And then the quality from the set pieces. And look, they put a lot of pressure on Manchester United's defence by sort of scrumming underneath United's sort of bar with centre halves. But then you think to yourself, well, if they'd just lined up Tarkowski, Keane, who was out there, Beto, Barry, Branthwaite, and just let them charge in, sort of at the 6-yard box at Harry Maguire to have a real good head at it. You think to yourself, well, would they have had more chance? I don't know. I mean, look, I actually think sometimes you should put it right on top of the goalkeeper and really let him feel that you're there and see whether he can handle it. And I'd say that one thing, when you come into this league as a goalkeeper, the first thing that every other team are going to do is say, can he handle it? Can he handle the physical side? Can he handle the ball being put on top of him? And that's the biggest test that Stella Larmans has actually handled tonight. Because I think when other teams look at it now, they'll think, that's maybe not a tactic that can bug him. That won't bother him. So now they'll just come away from him a little bit, maybe. But I just thought Everton tonight on the set pieces and in the open play didn't have that little bit of a spark and creativity and quality to unlock the door. And United's resilience and their good defending meant that ultimately it was a frustrating night for them. But I've got nothing negative to say about Everton, because I think the quality that they have is the quality that they have. They haven't got it. They haven't invested sort of what would be hundreds of millions. They haven't invested in Cunha and Mbeumo, which if Everton had those two players out there tonight, it would be a different story. But they haven't got that sort of wealth. So, I wouldn't be too disheartened if I was an Everton fan, but I think they'll be disappointed that they just want more, don't they? But they're not anywhere near relegation where they have been at times in the last 4 or 5 years.
So just finally, we're going to come back to goalkeepers, because we've had Edwin van der Sar tonight, and Jamie Carragher has been naming his top 10 goalkeepers in Premier League history. So I think I may know the answer to this, but who's your number one?
Number one goalkeeper without hesitation in Premier League history is Peter Schmeichel.
Okay, I thought you might say that. He's actually his number 2. So can you
Peter Schmeichel's Carragher's number 2.
Carragher's
Who's he got number 1?
Yeah, he has gone with Petr Cech.
Interesting.
Who had a long career
in
the Premier League with a couple of different clubs.
What I'm not going to start doing now is start sort of laying into Petr Cech.
No.
I mean, I think Petr Cech's a sensational goalkeeper for a long time at Chelsea. I wouldn't have him above Schmeichel. I don't think I'd have him above David Seaman.
So would they be your top 3 in whatever order?
I'm trying to think, to be fair. You've caught me a little bit off guard in a sense.
I can tell you again, looking at Jamie Carragher's list.
Who's he got?
Well, David Seaman is actually number 9 on his list. Yeah,
he's got 8 better goalkeepers than David Seaman.
Yeah, so he's got.
Well, he can't have seen David Seaman that much or played with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, David Seaman was a sensational goalkeeper in my mind. I mean, I was lucky enough to play with both Schmeichel and Seaman at the same time, and at that time they were both battling it out for who was the number 1 in the Premier League, and it was close. It was close. I mean, I say that without hesitation. David Seaman was you talk about composure and calmness and size and making the difficult things look easy. David Seaman was a sensational goalkeeper. I mean, absolutely incredible. But sometimes with David Seaman, what gets remembered actually is that goal
against Brazil,
yeah, which goes over his head.
Yeah. And
I think he also conceded one from a corner, I think, at St Mary's for England, where similarly it went on. But I think David Seaman might have been like 35, 36, 37 at that point and getting on in years. But David Seaman for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I mean, was absolutely unbelievable in a formidable defence, by the way. Yeah. Arsenal famous back 4 in front of him. No, I'd have David Seaman in my top 3. I'd have David Seaman. I'm trying to think of the others. Obviously, you've got Alisson, haven't you? That's in the modern era.
Yeah, he's number 3 on the Jamie Carragher top 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him in front of Cech. I wouldn't have him in front of Cech, Seaman, and Schmeichel, Alisson.
I'll tell you his top 4 and 5. De Gea is 4, and Thibaut Courtois number 5.
Courtois, I love, by the way. I mean, Courtois. I'd have Courtois in my top 3, by the way, if I was thinking about his Real Madrid career. So if I was thinking about Courtois coming out of the Premier League and doing what he's done since, then yeah, if that's what we're doing, I'd put Courtois right up there. I mean, I think he's absolutely brilliant. What's the criteria? Whilst they've played in the Premier League, or is it actually sort of in their careers and they've been in the Premier League? Because then
the criteria is top 10 goalkeepers in Premier League history, so it suggests, doesn't it, that it's
whilst they've been in the Premier League. Yeah, well, I'd go I go Schmeichel. I'd go Seaman. I'd go Van der Sar. And I'd have them joint second, really, thinking about it. There wouldn't be much between them. I'd have Cech probably fourth. I'd have Alisson, Ederson. Am I missing anybody out here, sort of in the mid-times?
I'm just looking down the list. Jamie has got Ederson at number 7. He's actually got Neville Southall in his top 10. He's 8th.
Did he play in the Premier League? I mean, look, if we're going back before Premier Leagues, we're going back. I mean, is it Premier League?
Yeah, it is Premier League.
So how many games did Neville Southall play in the Premier League?
I couldn't tell you exactly how many in the Premier League, but obviously the majority of his career was pre-Premier League, wasn't it?
Right. Now let me run through it again. I am doing this on the sort of...
On the hoof.
On the hoof. Schmeichel, Seaman, Van der Sar. He's got De Gea above Van der Sar?
He has, yeah.
No, that can't happen.
Don't forget, he's got Cech number 1, who you've not mentioned yet.
Yeah, no, but I know I'm coming to him at 4 and 5.
Yeah, fine. Just wanted to remind you.
So he can't have. He's not got De Gea above Van der Sar.
Yep, he's got De Gea 4.
No, he can't. No, that can't happen. That's not right. It's not right. I mean, it's simply not right. I mean, let's be clear. So, Schmeichel, Seaman, Van der Sar. Who did I go the 4th then? Cech, did I go?
Cech, yeah.
Cech 4th. Cech 4th. I'll go Alisson 5. Ederson 6. Courtois purely because of Courtois at Chelsea, not the one that's gone on to do things for Real Madrid at 7. 8. I'm trying to think of someone else. Who's in his...
Well, the other one in his top 10 who I don't think I've mentioned yet, at number 10, is Pepe Reina, who had that run of 3 seasons, didn't he, when he won the Golden Glove?
No. 8, 9, 10. I'm trying to think of other goalkeepers.
Joe Hart? Would Joe Hart get in there?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe for 3 or 4 seasons at City. I'm trying to think who else. We're missing some obvious ones here.
I think we've mentioned most of those who would probably have been in Jamie's list of contenders.
I mean, if you're thinking about... Martinez is a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Am I up to number 7 or 8?
I've lost track. We could have done with writing these down.
Could you give me some preparation here for this?
Oh dear.
Oh, Peppa Pig at number 8.
So you've gone Schmeichel undoubtedly as your top.
Schmeichel, Seaman, Van der Sar, Cech, Alisson,
Yep.
Ederson, Courtois.
Yep.
That's 7.
Yep. And then...
I mean, does Donnarumma come into it? I mean, if...
Well, yeah, it's your choice. Has he been here long enough?
No. I mean, but obviously, if you're putting him in terms of goalkeepers... I'm trying to think of the goalkeepers that we've had in the league. Jens Lehmann?
Yeah, he's not on Jamie's list.
I mean, I'd have Jens Lehmann before Pepe Reina.
Mm-hmm.
Jens Lehmann, I'll go him at 8.
Mm-hmm.
He won a League or 2, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Jens Lehmann. I thought he was a... I mean, he's a... when he was a player, wasn't he? I love him to bits now when I meet him. He's mad, wasn't he? Man, so was I. Still am. Number 8, goalkeepers. We're at number 8. We can't even think of 10.
So the ones you're ruling out of his list are Reina and Southall, aren't they?
Yeah. No. I mean, look, Neville Southall, if you're talking about...
Yeah, pre-Premier League.
Pre-Premier League. Oh, God, I mean, Neville Southall, right up there. But I don't think we're doing that because Neville Southall will be higher up then. If we're doing Premier League, I'm at 8. Who did I put in at 8 then? Sorry. Who did I put in?
I need to write these down.
I put Jens Lehmann in. I put
yeah,
Jens
of course you did.
Lehmann
Yeah,
after
yeah,
Courtois.
yeah,
Jens
yeah,
Lehmann,
yeah,
number 8.
yeah, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Are we being unfair in looking at goalkeepers just from successful teams? And if you look at somebody like Jordan Pickford, for
Yeah,
example,
I mean,
who's had
yeah.
such a long spell
Yeah.
with England,
Yeah.
so many clean sheets, played in a team that has struggled over the years.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, I put Joe Hart probably before Jordan Pickford just because of what he did at City. But you're right. You don't necessarily tend to look sometimes at a goalkeeper. I mean, Ben Foster did a great job for many years in the Premier League, and Tim Flowers did a fantastic job at Blackburn.
Yeah.
Nigel Martin at Leeds. You know, and going back to keepers that I played with. Well, we're going in for a top 8, aren't we?
Yeah, let's leave
Let's
it like
just leave
that.
it there.
Yeah, top 8. We've got the top 8 out of you.
I don't think Edwin van der Sar will agree with his assessment, with Carra's assessment. But I mean, anyway, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
So I'll probably have to put 2 in because they're going to put mine up alongside his, aren't they? And then let some people vote on it of some kind. I'm going to put Joe Hart in at 9. I'm going to put Tim Flowers at 10. But
You're going to be phoning in your new choices tomorrow, aren't you?
yeah, because to be fair, I've run out of ideas. Who's been Tottenham's goalkeepers over the years?
Well, they had Lloris.
Oh,
For a long
Lloris.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lloris, who else has been Tottenham's goalkeepers?
You had Vicario. They've had a spell with Friedel.
No.
I think Lloris would be your best bet to be looking at Tottenham, wouldn't it?
What other clubs have we had in? What other clubs have we had in? Tim Howard did well at Everton for a number of years. Who was the goalkeeper before Alisson at Liverpool? I mean,
Probably was Rayner, really.
Was it Rayner? Was it Carrius for a bit and Rayner, and then who was before Rayner?
Well, you're going
David James, maybe, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's the end of the podcast.
We've stumped you at last. We've left
you
you
for coming.
speechless.
Thank you for coming to the Gary Neville Podcast. We can't think of 10 keepers.
Yeah, thanks for
you.
joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.